Hi folks, today you join me on a bit of a rescue mission. Well, so the other day, a friend of ours from church asked if he could drop round some worktops with the idea being that I would need to use them as a template to cut some new worktops down and he could take them back to fit. This is for a rental property or his old house, which they've been renting out, and they're looking to sell it now, so they need to kind of redo the whole house because they've been letting it out for a few years and it's just been rather neglected, let's say. This is what really gives wooden worktops, timber worktops, a bad rap, because it's all about maintenance and good installation in the first place. And if it's not done right, this is what happens, and then people, fall out of love with them. I'm pretty sure that we can bring this back to life, but this is pretty severe. You can see right at the back here is where it has been under tile, and obviously any sealant that was there has failed because there's been water sat there, and that's actually gone pretty soft. So we're going to have to see what we can do there. Around the tap, there's clearly been standing water here, which has caused some swelling here and bits of cracking, and I still think that we can sort this out and bring this back to life. I don't know why people do it, but they think because it's a wooden worktop, it's just one giant chopping board, and I mean, it's just criminal. Look at it. It's just been destroyed along here. It looks like they've used a butcher's cleaver, if anything. Right folks, it's day 2 and this is how we're looking. There was no need to talk through the stages to get here because it's pretty self-explanatory, just a sanding marathon. Breakfast bar came out okay. It was just sanding really with this one. There was a lot of knife marks in it because someone considered this their giant breadboard. So they're all sanded out and that was probably the biggest but easiest one to do. Sink, you've got watermarks everywhere. That's why it was so black to start with. Nearly all of that sanded out. But where you have bits remaining which are a bit more stubborn, you can use oxalic acid, which is like what you would use on an oak timber frame when you get those black marks and water staining after you've raised the frame. There was a little bit of work to do on the back of here where there was a little bit of splitting where all the staves had been joined together, just where obviously water had sat. So with those bits I cleaned them up as much as I could, and then I used a waterproof glue and sanded everything so it's filled everything nice and smooth again. And with this section, which was the hob area, it was so greasy. It really got down inside. It was almost harder than any of the other problems because that oil and grease from around the hob had saturated down into it. So it took a good deal more sanding, but also I was cleaning it up with mineral spirits and stuff like that to try and kind of neutralise that and get it out, because that could stop the finish from adhering to or soaking into the wood. One thing that someone mentioned on Facebook is you can actually get from Osmo, you can get a timber preserver or something along those lines, which you can put onto the wood first, and it's a deep saturating type preserver, especially around any water areas. So perfect for here where you've got an undermount sink and a draining board. Now I can't get that within our 2-day turnaround here, so I'm going in with a good deal of prep and then 3 coats of the polyX oil, and hopefully that should be fine. I'm going to need to give this another hour now the heat is on, and then we'll come back in and get ready for the second coat. Okay, so it's the second evening of our worktop restoration and we've got one more coat to go. I've got 2 decent coats on now, and at this point I'm going to give it a little rub back, and then I'm going to go on with the really fine, thin layer just to kind of finish it off. Now, I think I'm right in saying that Osmo on the tin says 2 coats is sufficient. However, from my experience, I've always done, like I say, either 2 decent coats and 1 final, or if I'm using a tint, i.e. the coloured version, I'd use the colour for 1 coat and then 2 clear coats on top, and that's what we've done for all the floors, doors and work surfaces in the house. A bit more info on the actual finishing technique I'm using. Rather than use a brush or a roller or even a microfiber like sponge, I tend to use these foam gloss rollers, but I don't roll them. If you let them roll, they can kind of leave an orange peely effect on there. Whereas if you use them just almost like a pad, it's a very even and smooth way of doing it. And also the very first coat and the second coat, I usually buff it in. I almost like work it into the surface, especially if it's quite a smooth grained wood like this. You kind of want to penetrate it in a bit. And then I go over with a second one of these, which isn't quite so saturated, and just smooth it all out. You know, you need to be looking into the light, whatever you're doing. So same thing over here, and that way I can see if there's anywhere where there's either a little bit too much build-up, or perhaps I've just kind of changed direction. But especially on the ends, you want to make sure you're kind of brushing off the work surface and then come back, so that, you know, you're never starting like this and then you end up with a drip edge. You know, I guess it's kind of basic decorating. So I'm going to go over with some 240 really lightly, just kind of give it a little rub back, and then the very last layer we're just going to rub on like a final film. And I'm also using the rapid version, which is pretty much what I always use because I'm impatient, but especially this time of year, I guess if you're kind of needing to get a couple of coats on in one day, that's a good way to go. One other thing is, when you're working with this stuff, although it gives you a bit of working time, especially if it's not particularly warm, as soon as it starts turning, as soon as it starts drying, if you then spot something, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later, and you go back and try and correct it, a bit like when you're painting, it will just kind of ruin that section. It's just a pain. You've got to let it just go off and then come back and sort it out the day after. A bit like if you had a run, if you were spraying a car or something, you kind of got to accept the mistake and then come back. Right, let's crank up the heater, leave this for a few more hours, and then I'll come and turn the heater off before bed. So restoration complete, basically the same process. If you were buying new worktops and finishing them yourselves, you just wouldn't need to do the sanding back to start with. So total cost came in about £10 for sanding belts, pads, discs, all that stuff. And I think I've used about half a tin of Osmo, so it's £12, £15 worth of finish. But this is the exact finish that we've used on our 8 worktops in the house, and 6 years on, they're looking pretty much like the day we put them in. So it's well worth it. And sometimes when you look at products like this and wood finishes, the high-end stuff, it can seem really expensive for whatever this is, a 750ml or 1 litre 750ml tin. But it goes so far. You can get floors and doors and all out of one tin. So don't be put off by the price tag. So it's actually proved to be a bit of a win-win with the fact that we haven't had to cut and cut new worktops and replace all this, because one, it would have meant buying lots more timber and unnecessarily getting rid of this, but also there's an expense that they didn't need to have, and the tenant, of course, was behind the issue by letting it get so bad. But it's nearly Christmas, and shelling out that much from the deposit is probably not the best thing to be doing this time of year. So hopefully this has found a good middle ground, and they've got worktops that are going to slot straight back in and look like new. I'll try and link to any tools and products I've used down in the description below, so you can find those for yourselves. If you want to see any more of this type of stuff, you can have a look through the channel. We've done videos on finishing floors, doors, and worktops and tabletops in a similar way, so that might be of help too. But there we go. Hope you've enjoyed that. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already, because we've got loads of restoration projects, DIY projects, new build type stuff, and all sorts going on. So you can subscribe, keep up to date, and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the restoration. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself. We'll see you next time.